A lot of people fall for a trap on this question because they're overconfident in how they understand these equations and they're not reading carefully. So hopefully if this question appeared on your SAT, you would notice that it's going to be near the end of a section where the questions are harder, the traps are more common, so just be cautious. And we hopefully have seen lots of questions that involve this. This is the exponential equation, and I use the open formula to deal with that. So the open formula comes up when we talk about percentages, but it also works when we talk about exponentials. And specifically, it's going to have a slightly different format for exponentials. The O is going to be times 1 plus or minus p to the t, and that's equal to the n. So what do all these letters stand for? Well, the O is the original value. So they tell us there were originally 32 gym memberships, so that should come first, and that's going to get rid of choice D just like that. Great. Now here's the hard part, okay? The n, the n is the new, so that's going to be the number of memberships in a given point. So that's taken care of. This is the new amount, and this is the original amount. The p stands for the percentage. Now, whenever we have an exponential, it's going to be a percentage increase or decrease. So just be very, very literal about this, right? So the 1 is still part of this, and then it tells us that it's an increase of 120%. So we write that as a decimal, so that's going to become 1.2, and the t is just the number of time that passes. So we see the 1.2 is in one of these answer choices, but that right there is the trap. It's not B, it's C, because if we add 1 and 1.2, we're going to get 2.2, and that's the trap. That's the thing we're not really used to, is we increase by percentages. It's usually that the resulting number in the equation is 1 point something, okay? So we're kind of primed for that, and then the SAT did something a little sneaky here, is they made it so that we're increasing by 120%, so there's an extra 1 there, kind of. And it's very confusing if you try to think about it, but if you just let the formula do the work, it's fairly obvious, right? We had an increase, we put in the percentage increase for the p, and then the equation does the work for us. 1 plus 1.2, that's it. We might not need to understand why it's 2.2 to get this right if we trust the formula.